Welcome to Who You Callin' Bruh,
a podcast about faith, family, and fun.
My name is Jay.
And I'm his daughter, Anna.
All right, and today is an episode we've entitled The Breakfast Club, bruh. Awesome. Okay, so here's kind of how this came about. My dad...
Pops, yes, we
Anna
love
calls
King
Pops. This was his suggestion, and I think I told the story already once on an episode that back when I was in middle school, my dad really wanted me to watch this because he thought it was just like the quintessential teenage movie about, you know, things that teenagers like authentically deal with. Because, you know, like most teenage movies are more like comedies and kind of goofy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so this has a little bit of comedy in it, but it's pretty much a drama, right?
I would say, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we're just going to talk about it. We just got finished watching it. And
Like,
so
literally, we watched these movies and we head upstairs, like...
Yep. We tried to have like immediate response.
Immediate.
Okay, so we'll get Anna's initial thoughts here in just a second. But first of all, let me say this. Number one is that spoiler warning. We're going to be talking about everything. So if you somehow haven't seen this 40-year-old movie, you should probably go watch it. Just stop right now. It's an hour and a half. You'll be fine. Number two.
Felt a little bit longer.
It was really just an hour and a half.
Okay,
yeah.
Just kidding.
The language, little salty.
Oh, a little? Bruh. I was like, whoa, I don't even hear this much at school, man.
I know. I told her, I was like, no, hey, the language before this is bad. She goes, oh, don't worry about it. I hear all this stuff at school. But it's bad, right?
It was pretty bad, not gonna lie.
Yeah, no lying there.
A little bit questionable, too, in the content.
Yeah, some questionable content as well. We'll get into that. Not the questionable content, but yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, and then any other shout outs that we need to do, Anna?
The only one I had was Pops, I think.
Yeah, so shout out in particular to Pops.
Once again.
Thanks for the suggestion. So see, somebody made a suggestion and we are following that suggestion.
Guys, comment and message me if you want a shout out.
That's right. Or if you have ideas for episodes and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Next week, you will most likely, Lord willing, get to meet the cousin.
Megan. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, it's going to be a doozy, guys. I'm telling you.
Fun.
I'm telling you. We're going to be bringing the heat on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed getting to meet the boyfriend last week. So
yes, Brecken's so lit.
Yeah, he is. Okay, so let's hop right into it. Anna, just initial thoughts about the Breakfast Club.
Well, I don't really know what to say. It was kind of weird, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know. There's no plot really development. I feel like it almost just kind of stayed the same to the last 5 minutes. But doesn't mean it was bad. But the story just started from the beginning. I low-key hated all of them except for the green shirt guy. He was funny.
Nice. Okay, let's stop for just a second and then describe the movie. So if you don't know what the Breakfast Club is and you're not going to go watch it, basically it's a story of 5 different students who are in Saturday detention. I don't even know if they still do that kind of stuff anymore at school. Do they?
Yes, they do.
Okay. So they're in all-day Saturday detention, and each one of them is meant to be some sort of stereotypical. Initially, when you meet them, they're a stereotype.
Like a clique.
Yeah, the cliques. So you have the sporty one.
Right.
You've got the
jock,
princess.
Popular.
Yeah.
The nerd.
The
bad boy.
The bad boy, exactly.
Emo freak.
Yeah. And then the woman who is the
I
girl.
still hate her.
Oh, man. Shots fired. So, yeah, each one of those 5 is supposed to, carry a representative. But the whole point of the movie is... It's there, like Anna said, there's not a lot of action. It's not really driving towards anywhere. It's just about their interactions. It's mostly conversation and
it's all conversation.
Yeah. And just trying to explore their own humanity, their own individual realities. So I thought we would basically take this in 2 different chunks. And I want to talk about the relationship amongst teenagers and kind of how those ideas about stereotypes and cliques and kind of breaking through those and how that works. And then secondly, the relationship of kids to their parents. Those were probably the 2 main themes, right?
Yeah.
It's how they relate to each other and how they relate to their parents.
Wait, but I wasn't done with my whole review.
I know. I was just kind of giving the broad overscope. Okay, so back to the review.
Yes, okay, my review. Yeah, they were all low-key weird. The little bad boy, I don't know. He was honestly a pervert. I did not like him. He was super weird, very inappropriate. And that emo girl made me even more upset. Like, the hatred I have for her is beyond. Like, she wasn't even emo. She was just actually insane. Like, I was not a fan. But once again, my favorite was the nerd. He was just funny, and he didn't do that much. I feel like he was just low-key there. But yeah, I don't know. It was all sorts of odd.
So basically you're saying in that because you felt like the other four at some point were a villain in the story, essentially, because they were doing something bad, but there wasn't the nerdy guy never really did anything like that?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't even consider them villains. Well, that bad guy was. Like, he literally was fitting his clique for a minute. He was genuinely getting on my nerves. And that emo girl, she was just... But wait.
Okay, what is your main beef with Allison? Is her name in there?
Allison?
Uh-huh.
Allison, when I catch you, Allison. I don't really know. She's just like genuinely. She always is making these noises. Like, who do you think you are? It's just so like weird. Like, I don't even know what to say. Like, she just gives me the heebie-jeebies. And even at the end, like, she gets a little glow up, by the little popular girl because they're friends now. Like, I was still like, who are you? Get away from me. I was not a fan.
Oh, that's sad.
I'm sorry. Wait, before we get into this, sorry, because I know I'm going to forget.
Okay.
Miss Carol, right?
Okay.
She wanted to know what bruh meant. And I was told that we hadn't specified what bruh is.
Okay, well, you're the teen. Why don't you lay it down?
So, if you know the term bro, brother, you're just like, it's what you call like a friend, like a gang, like a bro, right? It's just kind of like bruh. And I say it a lot. I'm always just like, my mom tells me to do something, I don't want to. I'm like, bruh. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. And you would call me in particular.
Oh, yeah, I do call you bro all the time. I'm like, bro, what are we doing?
Yeah. So it's a kind of a term of endearment, though, right? It's not an insult.
Right. It is not an insult. If I call you bruh, that means we're tight.
But, the who you call him bruh was kind of like the joke is, it's like an old man talking to a teenager, like, who you call him bruh?
I do call him bruh, and he was like, nah.
Yeah. So we thought that would be kind of a fun name that kind of, yeah, it represents the type of relationship
Bet that
this old man has to this teenage girl right here.
Sorry, just had to get that out of the way.
Oh, no, that's good. That's great content, guys. Like, see how this is amazing? Like, it's so nice. Okay, so back to your review. Other big thoughts that you have about the movie in general? Let's scale of 1 to 10. What'd you think?
I'd give it like a 6 or a 7.
Okay.
I would say it's a movie that is good when you watch it, but you can't really watch it a second time
right.
unless it's been like a decade and a half.
I agree.
Like, it's not a movie you could watch multiple times in the span of a year. Like,
yeah. So let me ask you that. This is something I was going to be really interested in talking to you. Just in general sense, that movie is 40 years old. So he says in there, it's like March of 84 is when that was supposed to take place. Okay. So literally 40 years old. How much do you feel like you could identify with those teens to now? So like, do you think that in general, there's still some of the same struggles of growing up that they had that you and maybe your friends, people that you know have?
I would say it's about the same, except nobody wrestles as a sport. That jog guy.
Well, that's because it's in the north. So just pretend it's football here.
Yeah, I was like expecting it to be football, and he's wrestling, and I was like, okay.
Or it's in the Midwest. It's state based in Chicago.
Oh yeah, you're right. But yeah, I would say like it's pretty similar. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty close. Some things are a little bit not as bad nowadays, but
interesting. So some things not as bad.
Well, like, she was like the queen of the school, but like we don't have like one person. I felt like that was the queen of the school. There was like your prom queen or homecoming queen. Like you have like popular kids who are well known, but like I doubt if I asked a freshman, a popular kid from like a senior grade, senior grade, they're not gonna know who I'm talking about. Like I feel like.
Okay, so let's compare that to another teen movie we did, High School Musical. Mm-hmm. So High School Musical was kind of wired the same way. You had all the different groups and the cliques.
Right.
And there was still the assumption that there would be, yes, like popular people that the whole school would know. And kind of, I think the word Claire, who is the character in the movie, says that people look up to her, right? So that she's meant to be the cream of the crop, you know.
I think High School Musical is a little bit more realistic though, because it's multiple people. Well, I guess Sharpay is pretty main, but like, you know, it's not one person. It's like multiple people for every grade.
Yeah.
Like if you asked me who's the most popular person in my grade is, I couldn't give you one answer. I could like.
Sure. Yeah. Well, that's nice. Okay, so back to your review. Any other big picture thoughts before we kind of dive into some specifics?
Nah.
No. Okay. Okay, so then let's talk about the dynamics of how those students relate to each other. Okay, so you know the theme of the idea of, and we kind of talked about this a little bit in the High School Musical podcast, but like cliques and getting to know people beyond what their exterior is. Let me just ask you personally: do you ever feel that way? Do you ever feel like that people just assume things about you because it's like, oh, Anna's a whatever category you fit into?
Yes.
Okay, so talk about that a little
not
bit.
really like a school, just like assumptions about my Christianity. Ooh.
Yeah? How so?
Well, once again, different for me. It's going to be brought up in every episode because I'm not trying to make it my personality trait, but it's just assumed of me that being a pastor's kid is my personality trait. That, like, you know, they find out I'm a pastor's kid, all of a sudden I've never sinned in my entire life. I'm, like, an angel child. Like, guys, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You know, like...
Are you saying you feel pressure to be that way?
No. Like, you know, I tell someone I'm a Christian. They obviously have views about me, but they find out I'm a pastor's kid, and they just think that I'm perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not saying that they're making me, but they just are kind of like, oh, so you've, like, never said a bad word in your entire life. Like, hate to break it to you, but I actually am a human being who sins as well. So, you know, like, it's just assumptions. And they're like, oh, I guess that's what I thought.
Okay, so...
Or people also, like, make assumptions about you that pastors are, like, crazy strict, that everything is, like, this, and this. And, like, you're just kind of chill. Like, you're a dad who just loves your family. Aww.
Oh, that's so sweet. I had somebody on Twitter the other day call me father. Like, he thought I was a pastor.
Father Jay?
And they call me father. I was like, I'm not a priest, man. Like,
that's so funny.
So it's even interesting. People think that they even know stuff. It's kind of like that, where it's like, okay, that's not even what I am. Like, you know, you're totally having him.
That's comical. If someone came up to me and was like, "Where's Father Jay?" Oh,
Yeah.
wait, actually, I call you that, but like
Well,
not
right.
in that sense. I just like Father Beerley. That's what I call you, but
Yeah.
like not priest. Like you're my father.
No, that's good. Okay, so then of the 5 characters, we have Claire, who is the popular princess. We have Andrew, who is the jock.
That's his name. I could never figure out what they were saying.
Yeah, Andrew. Or they call him Andy sometimes. They have John, who is the bad boy. Yeah. They have Brian, who is the nerd.
Brian.
And Allison, who for some reason you despise with your every fiber of your being.
Yeah.
Who did you identify with, do you think, the most?
Probably Brian. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, like, I don't do much. I mean, like, I'm in choir, but it's not really like a personality trait of mine, you know. So I would just say that, like, I care about my grades a lot, and that I try hard in school.
Do you have pressure? Like, do you put pressure on yourself?
Yes, I would say I put more pressure on myself than like y'all do. Just because, like, I just want to succeed. It's not like if I get anything less than a 99, I'm like gonna die. But like, you know, it's just like I want to do good, and then I also want to get into like good colleges. I've just always been I love school, so I always just cared about keeping my grades up.
Yeah, that's cool. So, okay. What about then, let's see. I was going to ask who you least identify with.
Allison.
Let me tell you a quick story about the actress's name is Ali Sheedy. And there's a documentary out that's basically about this generation of actors that a lot of them were there in the Breakfast Club and some other movies during this time. And they called them the Brat Pack. And anyway, and so they hated that, and anyway, it was all interesting. So this one guy, one of them, is trying to go through and get people to interview and be in the movie, and then so the guy who played John, he wouldn't do it, and then the woman who played Claire, Molly Ringwald, she wouldn't do it either. It wouldn't be in this movie, but the other ones did, and. Ali Sheedy is the most normal looking one out of all of them.
Is she really?
Yeah. She just seemed like super sweet and chilled and like kind of is like in this apartment and I don't know, just seems super regular.
Yes, queen. But I wouldn't even say I actually at least identify with her because like I'm pretty much of an oddball. So
Yeah.
I would say I probably at least identify with the jock. Like there's no part or like the bad boy. You know?
Probably that guy. He is a pretty tragic backstory. But so let me ask you about the bad guy, because I definitely think the point the movie was trying to make was you judge people about how they are on the outside, but really most people are trying to cover up some sort of pain, and they just do that in different ways, right? So every single one of them, whatever category they were putting them in, they all blamed what?
Their family.
Yeah. So they were all saying it's because of their home lives that caused this disruption. And so one of them is athletic and one of them is this and this and this and this. But really, they're all kind of the same. Do you think that that's true? Do you think that that's a true sentiment as you get to know people, that everybody's really, they're all kind of struggling, if you will. They're all insecure and just trying to do the best they can?
Yeah, I would. Yeah. Well, like, yeah. Yeah, okay. Yes, I do. Well, I was going to say, like, I personally don't feel like I'm struggling family-wise.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, well, I wouldn't say it's a struggle, but, like, I obviously sometimes do struggle with the fact that, like, Andrew's obviously not the normal, like, sibling from day to day.
Yeah. That's true.
Period.
And everybody's got their thing, right?
Right.
All the struggles. Okay, so that kind of connects us just briefly. We'll see. Like, how do you feel from the people that you get to know, and certainly not naming names, but all the people at school that you know, their home lives? Like, is a home life something that comes up very much? Do you feel like that when you find out about people's home lives, that it kind of explains a lot about who they are? I don't know. Just in general, it seemed like when these 5 individuals met each other, they, of course, knew nothing that serious about them. They didn't know anything about their home lives, but they spend a lot of time talking about that. So just in general, kids and their relationship with their parents, how much does that come up?
Not a lot. You got to be, like, close to someone to find that out. Not going to lie. Like, you have to be pretty close, so when you do find it out, you're kind of like, oh, I wouldn't have guessed that. Yeah, exactly like the movie, guys. You're like, I wouldn't have guessed that. But then it's also, like, weird to see how people treat your friends when they don't know, but you do know. You see? And then you're like, I'm going to hurt you.
So in there... Well, that's I'll come back to that. So let's finish up with the parent idea. So do you feel like, and I know, like you just said, you feel like you have a great relationship at home and stuff. Like, how much of your home life do you think makes you who you are at school?
All of it.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Because,
you think that's true for your friends too?
I mean, well, no, because like I know people with bad home lives who are greatest, who are just like sweet people outside of school, in school, and they've had bad stuff, you know?
Yeah.
But like when I walk into school, I'm always like, well, got a good family, good mom and dad, good support system, get picked up from school, get fed. Makes me pretty joyful.
Nice. That's super cool. Okay, so I think I cut you off. Were you going to say anything about your friends, like in their home lives and stuff like that? Just getting to know people.
Well, what do you mean? What? Like, what?
I don't know. I thought you were saying something. We can move on from that.
Well, heck, you don't remember.
Okay. All right. So what I was going to say is on the way that those kids like related to each other. You know, they're trying to get to know each other, and then oh man, I'm pretty sure I just forgot what I was going to say.
That's wait, where is it? Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Wait.
Yeah, I reserve that. Maybe, probably some crickets.
Yeah, definitely some.
Yeah, I'm going to use up all the crickets. Okay, so what I was trying to think of was, this moment where they're all sitting together towards the end. So they've kind of gotten the get to know you period. They go and they go out into the school and do some crazy stuff. They may have done a little bit of drugs.
Ooh, that's so me.
Yeah, that's so you.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah.
Just
And
kidding.
so they're sitting around, talking to each other and trying to get a sense of like their relationships. And one conflict that they have, one discussion is about, would they be friends? So here they are in this other environment. They're all kind of by themselves. They don't have their normal friend set around them. And they're getting to know each other. And they're like, when we go back to school, will we still be friends? Will you talk to me? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they all had different perspectives.
Okay, actually, I do have something to say about that because, little nerd, what's his name, Brian?
Mm-hmm.
Brian and Allison were over here being like, y'all are such jerks because y'all just said y'all wouldn't talk to us. And like, we're just being honest that like, normally based on our friend groups, like it wouldn't happen. Now, but you're telling me some nerdy kid is coming up to like the jock, like in all the movies they're like, no, I can't, I could never do that. Like, okay, they're not special. Like, don't act like you would.
So basically you're saying that everybody's got a little bit of social awkwardness to them.
Yes.
Right. So, but do you think like that those stereotypes are true? Like, do you see that where everybody kind of stays in their own lane and people don't crisscross over because they get like crucified for doing so?
Oh no, that's definitely not true anymore. Because
No.
like people in football also are in theater.
Yeah.
Like, okay, and you're kind of friends with, like, nobody's kind of like, look, there's the football boy, he's passing by. Like, I can't believe he would even dare step near my choir room. Like, no, it's just kind of like, oh.
Do you think the ages matter that much?
Ooh, yes, to a certain extent. Like, I don't know. I think, like, anything relating to do with senior and freshman is just a little bit odd, like, just a tad bit, Yeah. I mean, maybe it's just me, but it's like freshmen are very immature. Seniors are about to, like, go move out to a new step of their life. So I do feel like that can cause some boundaries, but it's never been, like, an issue, like, especially in things like theater and choir. Like, you don't really go around, like, checking. You just are kind of friends with whoever.
Yeah. I agree. Okay. Yeah, so any kind of last thoughts about the Breakfast Club?
Okay, so we never got clarification on why they're called the Breakfast Club. He just finished, hold up, because he actually just
Here we go. She's starting to cook.
No, that was enough. But he starts this letter, right, that he's writing for all of them, because they all had to write letters and they didn't want to. So they wrote one letter. Tell me why it took him, like, 5 different scenes for him to write this letter just for it to be like, yeah, sorry, like, we don't really know what to say. You clearly already know us. Bye, the Breakfast Club. Why are they called that? Why did it take you that long to write a letter?
Because he was high.
Really?
I don't know, but it seems reasonable.
But they had already, like, kind of worn off. They were already having screaming fits at each other, like, ah!
Yeah, it's true. But they could have also been high.
Also, always being like, I'm gonna kill you. Oh, it's okay. Like, they're just misunderstood. I'm gonna cover for you. We're friends. Like, bro, pick a side.
That sounds real normal. That's pretty much how things are around our house.
Okay, but like, we're blood. They just met. Like, I'm a people pleaser. If I'm sorry, I just like broke my toe. Like, if I just meet you, I'm giving you like, oh my goodness. Like, you could be like, I hate Jesus, and I would be like, that's definitely an opinion that we can talk about later. Like, I'm not gonna ask you for anything.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, why are they called the Breakfast Club?
I don't know, because they met at breakfast time. It was like 7 a.m. when they had to get there.
Okay, but
They were there for 9 hours.
that's kind of crazy because that's more than a school day.
Yeah.
This has got to be illegal.
Man.
And that teacher wasn't even in the room half the time. He was low-key trash.
Yeah. It was interesting, though, just from an adult perspective. So, like, you get a little bit of glimpse of him, too, where he thinks his life is going to be one thing, but it's not. And so he's frustrated and he takes it out on those kids. And so,
And you know what?
and the janitor,
I was going to say, you got told that by a janitor, son.
boom.
Ooh.
Yeah. In your
Mop the
face.
floor with you.
But the janitor points out that like the hypocrisy sort of like, hey, you know, the kids haven't changed, you've changed. Like this is the way it's always been. So don't take it out on them. You know, your unhappiness, you know, essentially trying to bully them or whatever.
Exactly.
And he most certainly does try to bully that one kid.
Oh my goodness, bro. He just put him in the closet. He locked him up
And tried to get him to punch him.
He's like, punch me right here. Also, I hope y'all just heard my back cracks. They were so wonderful.
Oh, were they loud?
Yes, they were super loud, but you were yapping.
Ah, dang it.
I'm just kidding. It's okay.
I won't say anything the next episode, just so we can hear.
I'm just kidding. It didn't come. But I'll do a
man.
cracking episode where I just like, wait, maybe I should not say that. I'm gonna sound like I'm taking crack.
Yeah, I don't think they call it cracking.
Well, how would I know?
Good point. How would I know?
Because you're literally a criminal.
Ta-da. Okay. All right. So wrapping up Breakfast Club. It's a classic. And I would say in general, I like movies that are kind of more conversational. Of course, I love probably my favorite stack of movies is like the Mission Impossible stuff. I love that. So much fun.
Yeah.
But I do love just character driven conversational things and just kind of exploring how people are and how they sometimes relate to each other or don't relate and things like that.
Wait, okay, so this movie really reminded me of like when I hated reading. The book that got me into reading, it's called One of Us is Lying, right? And it was either like 5 or 6 kids, okay? They're all in detention, but like all for things that they didn't do, right? Like they all were framed for something, okay? And this one kid dies in detention, like someone poisoned him, right? And so it was really crazy. And so they're all like, they all from different cliques. You got popular, you have the nerd, you have the jock, right? All of them, they all come together and they have to like, all right, so whatever, which one of y'all did
I
it?
bet that it was influenced a little bit by the Breakfast Club. I bet.
I'm sure, well,
Or just life as a teenager.
it really took a turn, actually.
Okay, one more thing and then we got to wrap it up.
Okay.
What do you
Oopsies.
think Claire did to get into detention? She never shares.
She never shared?
I don't think so. Right? So the Princess Popular.
Oh, yeah, she was the only one who didn't share.
Oh, actually, I don't know that the bad guy shared either. It just assumed he's like always in detention.
Because he backtalked and they were like 2 months in detention. Okay.
Yeah.
But I think she just like, it was probably something silly. Like I'm sure
Cut class. I bet she skipped class.
I bet that's what that is. It was probably something like that. Like not
Yeah.
that detrimental that needed to be shared.
Nice.
But that was real embarrassing that the nerd guy, he got caught with a flare gun.
Yeah.
And he was going to kill himself with a flare gun.
Yeah. That wasn't well thought out.
I was
either.
like, all right.
Yeah, it went off in his locker. So sad.
Embarrassing.
Indeed. Okay, so thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you, if you've seen The Breakfast Club, hopefully that was meaningful. And if you haven't seen it, hopefully it was also meaningful.
Yes.
Okay. We'll see you guys next week with the great and mighty Megan.
Yes. Megan. Well,
All right. Deuces.
bye, twins. Thank you for listening. Who You Callin' Brat is a Jam Pastor Jay production. All writing, content, and production is done by Jay and Anna Beerley.
Our opening and closing track is Feel It by Matias Ruiz. You can find more wonderful tracks at worshipstart.com. This podcast is hosted on Substack at jampastorj.substack.com.